Good evening, everyone. I'm Dave Beck from listener-supported classical King FM in Seattle at 98.1 and king.org, and I cannot tell you how good it is to be back with you all this evening. Yes, indeed. This is the first in-person concert by the Cascade Symphony Orchestra in 20 months. Also marks the start of the 60th anniversary of this wonderful institution. The Cascade has a way of building rich traditions and connections that kind of sneak up on you. It's remarkable to me that tonight I begin my 13th season as your pre-concert speaker. So thanks always for the honor of your presence as you make the time and effort to come early to learn a little bit more about the music we'll hear together. The global loss and grief we've collectively experienced for more than a year and a half now is sadly brought as close to home as can be in the first piece on tonight's program. I can vividly remember seeing with such sadness the social media post from my friend, the principal cellist emeritus and charter member of Cascade Symphony, Norma Dermond, as she wrote of the death of her brother-in-law, Alan Lund, from COVID-19. This was back in March 2020, the earliest days of the pandemic. I offer my condolences to another member of the CSO community since its founding 60 years back, Norma's sister, Ellen Lund, a violinist who was married to Alan Lund for 45 years. Alan also leaves behind 2 daughters and 2 sisters-in-law, the cellist Norma and violist Kathleen Molenburnt. My heart goes out to any one of you here tonight that knew and loved and served on the Cascade board or perhaps made music with Alan. He was a board member and videographer for the Cascade Symphony. His presence and talents and kindness were all well known to this community, and it's a very hard loss to take. But tonight, we find solace in the premiere performance of Tribute to Alan Lund, written by Alan's close friend and fellow musician Stephen Richards. These 2 composers, arrangers, and performers enjoyed a friendship dating back more than 40 years. Steve loves remembering Alan's presence on the podium when Steve was a trombonist during Alan's 35 years as music director of the Seattle Gilbert and Sullivan Society. Steve recalls Alan's perfectionism as a conductor and his ability to use humor to get results. When singers in one Gilbert and Sullivan Society production were getting behind the beat during one of those demanding patter songs, Alan stopped the rehearsal and said to the singers, "Ladies and gentlemen, the orchestra is playing at this tempo," and then he demonstrates the beat. "So, if you'd like to join us at that tempo, we'd be more than happy to have you." Steve Richards shares a deep Christian faith with Alan Lund. Steve recalls the sadness that came over him when he received a text in March 2020 informing him of Alan's sudden and devastating decline after contracting the virus. Steve began writing the piece as a prayer for his friend and in part as a means of therapy and comfort for Steve as he held the news of Alan's fragile condition and prayed. After Alan's passing, Steve, somewhat hesitatingly, shared his musical prayer for Alan's wife, Ellen, concerned that his musical offering might be too personal and painful so soon after Alan's death. But Ellen Lund loved the piece. She sent it to music director Michael Miropolsky, who was soon on the phone asking Steve if the Cascade Symphony could perform this music in tribute. Not ever expecting this to be a possibility, Steve agreed to the performance. But like his friend Alan, Steve is a conscientious perfectionist. Once he got off the phone with Michael Miropolsky, Steve Richards said to himself, "Oh, brother, what have I gotten myself into?" Alan Lund was a beloved music director in the Highline and Bellevue school districts. Among his students were Ann and Nancy Wilson of the famous rock and roll band in the area, Heart. They created an arrangement of the 60s pop tune "To Sir with Love" that their high school choir learned and sang for Alan as a surprise tribute to their beloved teacher. To sum up how beloved this man was and how beautifully Stephen Richards captures his friend's spirit in the piece we'll hear tonight, this is what Norma Dermond, Alan's sister-in-law and our charter cellist on stage here this evening, had to say about Steve's tribute to Alan. Quote, "I can sense Steve's love for Alan in this music. We loved Alan," Norma says. "He was the caretaker of our mom. He was the turkey carver at Thanksgiving. He was the protector of the sisters." a tribute to this extraordinary man of faith, family, community, and music, beginning our concert here tonight.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our 60th season. I just want to say how incredibly happy we are to see you, and how incredibly happy we are to be on this stage. 18 long months. This terrible virus took a lot of human lives. Our dear friend and former Cascade Symphony board member died tragically of COVID-19 a year ago. His friend and wonderful composer, Stephen Richards, who is also Edmund's resident, wrote a tribute in memory of Alan Lund, just a few days after Alan passed away. And we would like to dedicate this world premiere of his piece to all victims of coronavirus. I would like also to ask you to hold the applause at the end of the piece. Thank you. What a wonderful piece. But life goes on. Next piece in our program, just to change 180 degrees from what we just played, written by Antonin Dvorak.